Well, my parents, again, tried to instill in all of their children the idea that it didn't matter what you did in life, but to try to do the very best that you could. They put a very high value on performing as best you could. And as I went through school, I got more and more turned on by sciences. And I mean, I enjoyed the arts and I enjoyed history particularly, but I got more and more interested in what makes things tick, particularly in biology. How does the heart work? How does the brain work? These sorts of things. And so when I started to think about what I might do in university, the sciences were sort of a natural choice, but I also tried to take a few history courses and get, as many other things in as I could. I was like a kid in a candy store, if you like. But eventually I decided on medicine because it seemed to me that this was one where you could satisfy this thirst for knowledge about biology and about what makes the human body tick. You could satisfy that by going through medicine, but you would also make a contribution that what you did in medicine was worthwhile, that people's health mattered, and this would continue to be terribly important into the future. When I was going through medical school, the stuff that really fascinated me was the brain and how the brain works and how the brain develops. And at that time, the sort of mecca in Canada was the Montreal Neurological Institute and McGill University. This was where things seemed to be really happening. And so I graduated, I crossed the stage of the Jubilee Auditorium, picked up my diploma, and hopped on a train and went to Montreal to train. And so I ended up training in the McGill system. And during that period of time, I got fascinated more and more by the basic workings of the brain and how research could contribute to this. So I eventually did a PhD degree at McGill and became a research scientist as well as a physician and went on staff at McGill University.